Hello, my name is Francis Fox. I'm a trained remote viewer, trained also in interspecies communication, which by the end of next week might be important. Um, I just said that spontaneously, but a lot of psychic information comes in spontaneously for people. We're in critical times. The metaphysical stuff I'll get into at another point. Uh, let's go into gossip first. I told you yesterday that we were getting a lot of interferences in my chats when the Mantrista movement was working. I identified where a man who's MK Ultra in Miami on Benevento behind it, and I called the mayor, Vince Lago, and somebody immediately responded and went there. There was a altercation that didn't last long. Then everybody ran down the back stairs, and today when I checked the MK Ultra guy, who lives the back of his where he lives is in the alley of Benevento. He was packing and leaving. The only problem is I think he was told to leave Miami, and he's not leaving Miami. I believe he's moving to 8th Street. So we'll have to continue to track him. Remember that when it's MK Ultra, you're talking about the Manchurian candidate behavior. It's not like the guy has an option, which is why you can't knock him down because he's not making the decisions. Unless you shoot him like a zombie, unless you destroy the physical vehicle, you still have a problem. So, people in Miami, you have a problem. FBI, CIA, you think he's got him under control? You don't. So, do your job. Do your job. Okay. I want to talk 1 second about nutrition and its relationship to the other dimensions. So, I used to have beans every day. Beans are really good for your kidneys. It's like the number one food, other than coconut water, for your kidneys. So, and then I stopped eating beans, which is a type of self sabotage, I guess. So, today I'm getting ready to uh, eat beans again today. And some sabotaging went on. But the sabotaging which I was doing was actually the influence of spirits that are attached to my kidneys are not doing so well, that are attached to my kidneys that were trying to stop me from eating beans because the beans are good for me. I'll be stronger, I'll last longer, I'll be a pain in the neck for bad people for more time. So I know this might sound a little bit boring what I'm saying now, but it's actually really important because if there's something that you have determined to do and you just can't make yourself do it, you have a spirit attachment. I mean, I think people that are into liberations, which means removing spirits, kind of already know that. But even I thought it was like this outside thing. But these spirits were coming, this sabotage was coming from my own kidneys. Interesting. I want to let you know that my background appears to be really, really, really interesting, and I will not have the total validation of it until I can actually find out who I am. We already know I'm a mind control victim, sex trafficked, all that stuff. How about where did I start? With my family. It would appear that I'm from the bloodline of Madame Blavatsky, who was like semi lower level royalty from Russian Ukraine. She was the one who started the theosophy movement, which has to do with mind. She's very good. Her books are unreadable. So maybe I reincarnated or incarnated to be able to land her information in very simple terms. But my point now is that because we don't, and it sounds like, my God, Frances is being arrogant. Now she wants to claim she's royalty. No, I just want to know who I am. But more than that, I want for my grandkids to know who they are because the bad guys track people like my family because we have, not that we have gifts from the other dimensions, which is what power is. So, when I was a kid, a baby, they used to call me the bee baby for Blavatsky. I didn't know what that was. And then somebody within the Cuban mafia, she actually was the wife of some mayor that was gay. And he needed a wife in order to run for mayor. This was years ago. And she was the one who told me, but I had already heard that before. So at some point, I'll be able to announce to you, you know what? It was all bullshit. But I suspect that's not going to be the case because of all these memories that I have. So, who are you? Who are you? What does your bloodline say? Why did people like the Da Vinci Code so much? Just like the Matrix. The Matrix is totally accurate. And the Da Vinci Code is totally accurate also. So that puts me in what kind of a position? Scared position for my family because they don't know this. And on all these tarot card readers that I watch that are generic, I haven't paid for a single one. I just watch them on my TV screen just to entertain myself. A lot of people are tracking my family's DNA. They want it. We all need to know this information. We need to know this information. It's about us, bottom line, but we haven't been allowed. Human anguish is based on ignorance. And purposefully, we have not been allowed important information. Let's go into the beauty thing. I already know I need a hairdresser. When I can get out of it all, I usually have a really good haircut. Nah. What do I look like? What is this little bowl thing? I could put a bowl on top of my head because I'm doing it myself. Why am I saying this? I don't know. Because I think maybe my hair is like really important and it really makes me crazy. My daughter's the fashion police. I'm sure if she looks at my chats, which I doubt, she would be really unhappy. What's going on, Mom? What's going on? I can't get out of here. Nor can I get a hairdresser here. Next. We're going to get into the map. And maybe today I'll be able to make this as short as it's supposed to be. So let's go to the map, okay? Here we go. I did this probably at 3:30. At the top, we have Canada X'd out, which is black magic, a line through it. And you can't see it, but there's arrows that are black that are coming from above, which would make it the North Pole. I think there's a lot going on, and I think Canada may be doing whatever or not doing whatever, but I think that they have been basically taken over by forces which are not the communists and the socialists. It's not a political issue. It's a off planet. Again, we don't really know what's going on in the North Pole, and I am not going to look because I am less dumb than I look. But I think Canada is getting done in by whatever it is that's happening up there. So we should at least have compassion and not laugh at them, okay? The United States does not look anywhere near as good as yesterday. Here's yesterday's map. Look at that wonderful spiraling and anchoring of love. That is not what's going on today. There's a spiraling of rage, and it's a broken line. I don't like that. This is not a good thing. Now, I will be getting together with the Mantrista movement tonight, and we're going to work on that. But something very, in terms of emotions, the love is being overwhelmed by the rage. So let me suggest that everybody do the mantra, even though I hate everybody and everything, I love and accept myself. And tell God that you intend that this is for your country, the United States, if that's your country, or you want to help the United States, just say it's for the United States. Alaska looks great. So somebody took care of the black magic there. But that's not over because whoever did that is going to know that it was resolved, purified, and they're going to go back. I got a question mark, Aleutian Islands. I know those are the ones that are connected to Alaska. Something's going on there, but more than that, I'd like to talk about the triangulation of energies that was going to be used to take down Venezuela by causing an earthquake that was going to shake the planet in terms of the consequences. And it was stopped. We worked on that. I don't remember if it was Saturday night. That's the plan having to do with Alaska. There is a triangulation of technology. And Alaska is not really in such a great place. You just had an earthquake in Russia. And they're saying there's supposed to be a bigger one or whatever. I don't keep up with that because that's information on the physical dimension. But what I need is stuff that can help prevent, not what it is, the bad stuff that we can expect, but why don't we go to causal? So we're going to work on that also. But you just need to know that there is. So I'm going to say something now. And at some point, somebody needs to tell me, some of the nice guys need to tell me, maybe Francis, that's not the kind of thing you should be saying to everybody else. Yeah, but how do I get this to the good guys, right? Because a lot of people are looking at this chat, even though it looks like nobody's looking at this chat. It would be nice if by the time the meeting happened, the meeting had already happened. It would be nice that there be some kind of movement to where it would be like almost impossible for things to be pinpointed and targeted. At this point, I would say that the whole thing with Alaska is very dangerous. And certainly we will try to take care of it, but the future's elastic and plastic, I don't know. So I'm very happy about that meeting. And I'm going to show you a little video because maybe you haven't seen it. Now, when I tried to play it this morning, it wouldn't play. Let's see if it'll play now because it's so cute.
Snow is falling down in Alaska town. Trump's on the sled, Putin spinning around. Laughing in the cold, side by side. Slipping on the ice in a friendly slide. Hey, hey, what can we say? Peace feels easy on a snow day.
Isn't that cute? Now, Trump is whale consciousness. Not Trump, excuse me. Putin is whale consciousness. The first animal placed on the planet was the whale. That's not a coincidence. Whales stabilize the Higgs field of the entire planet and of the areas that they're in. And wherever there is somebody with whale consciousness, things are stabilized. Whales create order. The Higgs field is what creates order, and people that have whale consciousness create order. Their lives are very difficult. They tend towards addictions because their life is, our internal life, very difficult. The weight of the world is upon them. And then Trump is angelic. So the combination is really good because you have the heaviness and the responsibility for the Higgs field of the planet with Putin, and then you have the angelic, which it's a good combination. And we will try to work on a protection because all that disinformation, the stuff that is put out is, you see it, you hear it, and it does influence you, even though you kind of suspect it's not true, it's only part of whatever. So, but I thought that clip was, it gave me such pleasure this morning. Such pleasure to see that. I do agree with, I think there's someone on X that's called Caturd, Cat Turd. And he said today that he really liked AI when it first came out, but it's totally destroying social media. And it certainly is. But it's going to destroy more than that. So perhaps tomorrow I will show you a statue that I acquired from a burial site in Peru that's over 2,000 years old. And I will tell you the story about it because it applies to all of this. We are in very interesting times. We are at the point, we have already ascended, many of us, and everything is easier and there's more optimism, but there's still a lot of negativity, and the images are important. Images are everything because that's how you start to create reality, with an image and a thought, and then it gets vitalized. So all these images are Ouija boards from AI. If the images are from AI, they're a Ouija board. A Ouija board opens portals. And then your life is not the same again. And most of the time you don't know it, and it's not that much of a difference, but it can completely shift your destiny. I have sketched people, and 20 and 30 years later, when I sketched that they played with a Ouija board and that it changed everything, and that what I was dealing with that they needed to clear was due to that sitting down at a Ouija board 20 or 30 years earlier. All Practically everything is AI today. Not good. But we're in end times. All this stuff has to come together and figure itself out, resolve. So let me check my notes a second and see if there's something else. Oh, the whole triangulation that they were doing in Venezuela that was not Venezuelans, the triangulation that they did that caused the Russian earthquake that in the Pacific, that was a triangulation, and there was they talked about the boat that was in the water. In terms of Venezuela, there was a boat in the water above the coast, upper left hand side of the map of Venezuela, and then there was two more positionings of technology within the land of Venezuela, and that's something that is getting was set up 7 weeks ago, um, in this Alaska thing. So maybe this is has been planned for 7 weeks. And if that is the case, whoever knows enough about this, then you can go, wow, she's right. Elon needs to know this. He needs to know this. Also, Elon, crystals have our crystals have woken up. And you also need to know that, having to do with space travel. And don't they use crystals in computers? And yet, if you look it up in the internet, it gets a little bit confusing. Do they use it or don't they use it? I believe they use crystals in computers. Why don't we know more about that? And why don't we go ahead and take that piece of knowledge and extend it to the crystals that are sitting next to our bed? So we'll be doing a lot more exploring and researching and sharing of what we find out about crystals having to do with them, with using them as tools to make our life better. And that really is what this is all about. So I appreciate you joining me. I'm in love with the fact I did only 17 minutes. Maybe the Cuban part of me is kind of down, whatever. So we will be back. But we'll be working tonight on the Alaska meeting because it's important for the entire planet. Okay? And the mantra would be, please God help us with our intention to create a miraculous protection of that meeting. Everybody will know what that meeting is, okay? Thank you for joining.